Coming up, adding to already strained tensions, Japan is set to release history textbooks this week that will make references to Tokyo's territorial claims to Korea's Dokdo Island. Full steam ahead for Korean shipbuilders as Korea wins the most new global orders in the first 3 months of the year. Plus, the Kenyan government names the mastermind of the senseless terror attack on a local university and offers a substantial reward for his capture. These stories and more coming up right now. Hello and thanks for joining us, to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Monday, April 6th, here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broome. Our top story this morning, Japan is expected to reassert its territorial claim to Korea's easternmost island of Dokdo this week, a move that will further stretch already strained ties between the two countries. Officials in Korea said that Tokyo is expected to make the claim in its review of middle school textbooks to be announced on Monday, following an annual report on Japan's foreign policy on Tuesday. Now, Seoul said it will firmly respond to provocations from Japan over the island. Korea reclaimed sovereignty over Dokdo after its independence from Japan in 1945. A renowned nuclear expert in the US is urging the international community to be well prepared in case Iran breaks its latest deal to halt its nuclear development. Writing for the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, Siegfried Hecker cited the case of North Korea when it broke a similar pact in 2003. He said the US and the international community did not respond adequately to that situation, and now North Korea not only possesses nuclear arms, but the regime is adding to its arsenal. Hecker said he believes Iran has already developed the capability to build a bomb. He stressed that the global community needs to convince Tehran that it has more to lose than to gain from building a nuclear weapon. A second shipment of Russian coal from North Korea could arrive in South Korea as early as later this month. But, as our Connie Kim reports, there are still some kinks to be worked out before the so-called Najin-Hassan project can get off the ground.
A trilateral trade pact between the two Koreas and Russia is expected to gain momentum with the second trial run of the joint railway project as early as this month. A government official told local media that the date is being arranged with Korean and Russian business officials, and the test run will get underway by no later than May. The so-called Najin-Hassan project was proposed in 2013 to facilitate economic cooperation among the three countries. The coal will be transported from Russia's border town of Hasan to the North Korean port city of Najin via a 54-kilometer cross-border railway. It'll then be shipped to South Korea's southeastern port city of Pohang, the home of the country's largest steelmaker, POSCO. The first trial run took place in November with more than 40,000 tons of coal on one ship. This time, twice the amount of coal will be transported on 2 ships. Also, officials are planning to bring in coal from a Russian mine that is closer to Najin, cutting the distance by more than half. But there are concerns about the timing of the second trial. Officials had originally planned the second trial for January or February to ensure frozen coal could be transported from rail to ship, but disagreements over the date caused a delay.
To operate in the winter, there needs to be more investment in thawing equipment and more investment to generate profit.
The project is the first part of President Park Geun-hye's Eurasia Initiative for construction of a new Silk Road railway connecting the Korean peninsula, China, and Russia. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
Korea and China will conduct a second joint inspection of fishing boats operating in shared waters in the West Sea, following an agreement made last year. Seoul's Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries says as many as 2,000 Chinese ships operate in the joint fishing zone during the high season, but many are believed to violate Korea's exclusive economic zone at night or in high waves when a crackdown is much more difficult. Ships from both countries can operate in the joint fishing zone without having to report to the other government under a bilateral deal signed in 2001. Illegal fishing by Chinese ships has become a source of diplomatic tension between the two countries on a number of occasions, with lives lost on both sides during raids by the Korea Coast Guard. Now, finally, some upbeat news for Korea's shipbuilding industry, as orders for the first quarter saw Korean shipbuilders sail back into first in the global market. Clarkson Research Services says it's the first time in 3 years that Korea has outperformed China in first quarter figures. Korean shipbuilders won orders of more than 2.3 million compensated gross tons, which is 41% of the global market share. Japan and China were second and third. The latest figures represent a much-needed ray of hope for Korea's shipbuilding industry, which was hit hard last year due to falling global oil prices. Now, these days, the latest smart devices need to do more than just function properly. They have to look cool as well, which is why more and more IT companies are turning to the fashion world to market their products. Kwon So-ah reports.
Smartphones on the runway? That's right. Before their official global launch on April 10th, Samsung Electronics Galaxy S6 and Galaxy S6 Edge made a noticeable appearance at Seoul Fashion Week. The designs and colors for the clothing on display at the show were created with inspiration from the gadgets. Here, the phones aren't being presented as mere accessories, but as a must-have fashion necessity.
We hope that the combination of IT products and fashion will give customers an opportunity to see the design for the Galaxy S6 in a fresh way.
Fashion is becoming a key element in the IT sector, with wearables like smartwatches crossing into the realm of high-end fashion. LG Electronics and Apple have both put more effort into the look of their new smartwatches to make them more eye-catching and wearable on a daily basis, not a fad to be tucked away after a short time.
These days, IT companies have to embrace what their regular customers' fashion values regarding style and design are.
Industry watchers say the heavy emphasis on fashion in the IT sector will continue, with companies marketing their products as must-have items for the fashion-conscious consumer in order to spur demand for the newest smart devices. Kwon So-ah, Arirang News.
Now, one of the rising trends in Korea's IT sector, the smart home market, is growing at a rapid speed, having expanded to roughly $7.9 billion last year. According to data from the Korea Association of Smart Home, which was released on Sunday, that's an increase of over 24% from 2013 and more than double the rate of increase from 2012 to 2013. Smart TVs and home entertainment systems are especially popular, accounting for more than 57% of the market. Market watchers predict that sales of smart TVs could surpass conventional TVs this year. Now, with the weather warming up, people are heading outdoors for fun and fitness, and cycling tops the list of activities for most people here in Korea. The bike riding population has surged in recent years, and that's fueling a thriving local market. But it's the taste for high-end equipment and accessories from home and abroad that's likely to keep the industry on track for years to come. Our Shin Se-min reports.
More than 1 in 5 Koreans, that's about 12 million men, women, and children, ride bicycles regularly, making it one of the most popular outdoor leisure activities in the country.
The domestic bicycle market was worth a cool $644 million as of last year, and it's a number that's expected to keep rising. Korea's largest bicycle manufacturer and retailer Samcheonli says it's recorded sales of over $111 million last year, up 10% from the previous year. Its close rival, Alton Sports, posted $62 million, an 11% surge from 2013. Local manufacturers aren't the only ones fueling the expansion. Koreans are buying imported bicycles by the boatload. Last year alone, Korea imported bikes worth $210 million, and that translates into annual average growth of nearly 9% since 2012. Cycling isn't a simple pleasure that anyone can enjoy, but there are certain types of bicycles dominating the local market, and they are high-tech, super premium models. The demand for these bicycles, which can cost more than a second-hand car, is stronger now than ever.
I spent over $4,000 on the bike alone, and I own a couple of spandex bike suits. Spending a lot of money on all the related products just makes me want to ride my bicycle even more.
It's like you start out driving a compact car, then you see a sports car speeding by you. Automatically, you'll want to get yourself a better car. It's the same with the bike. You start spending more because you know it'll get you better speed, stability, and the design. And once you feel that, there's no turning back.
Experts say the growing interest in expensive bicycles and accessories were foreseen, given Koreans' spending habits and shifting household dynamics.
The size of an average Korean household continues to shrink. There used to be mostly 3 or 4 member households, but now we are seeing a rise in 2 and even single-person households. These people choose to spend their free time on activities that satisfy them, even if their hobby costs them tens of thousands of dollars.
The future for the local bicycle industry looks even more promising as more and more Koreans take up bike riding to keep up themselves fit and in tip-toe shape. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
Now, the Kenyan government has named the man who it says was the mastermind of last Thursday's horrific terror attack on a university in Kenya that killed at least 147 people. The authorities there are offering a $215,000 reward for the alleged mastermind, Mohammed Mohamud. And in the latest twist, one of the gunmen in the attack has also been identified as a son of a Kenyan government official. Now, that official has tried to distance himself from the connection, saying that he hasn't seen his son in around 2 years and had informed the authorities that his son had gone missing. Houthi rebels in Yemen have taken more ground in the southern city of Aden, pushing back loyalists of the crippled Saudi-backed leadership. Reports say the city's residents were forced to take shelter in their homes amid heavy fighting. Houthi forces have been taking ground in Aden despite an intense aerial bombing campaign by an international coalition led by Saudi Arabia. The Saudi ambassador to the US says sending in ground troops is an option, but declined to comment on reports that Saudi special forces are already operating in Aden. Since late last year, Iran-allied Shia Muslim Houthis have seized much of northern and central Yemen, but have faced stiff resistance in the Sunni south, raising fears of a sectarian civil war. Now, the Seoul Theatre Festival has long been a staple of Korea's theatre scene, and yet this year's event was threatened before the curtain went up over the weekend. Its struggles are just one example of the challenges confronting theatre companies in Korea these days. Our cultural correspondent Kim Ji-yeon reports.
Theater is the soul and hope of the times. That's the slogan for this year's Seoul Theater Festival, which opened over the weekend in the theater district of Taegno. First held in 1977, the annual event serves to promote the performing arts. But times are tough for theater companies in Korea, as illustrated by the festival's struggles this year, and one venue in particular, the Arco Arts Center. This 34-year-old theater will be closed for about a month for maintenance. Performances that were scheduled to be held here were canceled, some just a matter of weeks before the curtain call. This is just some of the constant struggles theaters in Korea have to endure. Last month, Arts Council Korea threatened to strike the venue from the festival roster, though the council didn't take action in the end. But the theater's closure, although temporary, could also impact the fate of one of the plays on the festival's schedule, for warning obituary notice directed by seasoned veteran Moon Seok-bong. Moon, a theater director for more than 40 years now, is passionate about his art and also about saving it.
The theater serves as a mirror reflecting the irony, character, and culture of a society. Its highest purpose is to enlighten, offer an opportunity for catharsis, and ultimately create order out of chaos in times of crisis. So it's very important that we preserve this art form.
Despite the challenges, the show must go on. The festival runs through May 10th, and the opening play is Manchuria Front, a satire about a group of Koreans during Japan's colonization of the country in 1942. Kim Jeon, Arirang News.
And that's all we have for now. Plenty more stories are online. It's also worth checking out our smartphone application that has all the latest news and programs on it. And while we're speaking of programs, this is a brand new season on Arirang TV, so there are plenty new shows coming your way, including our new economy-related news show, Business Daily. That's going to be coming to you every weekday at 8 a.m. Korea time. We do hope your week gets off to a wonderful start. Goodbye.